Hey everybody, this is Josh, and I'm the owner of Play Crate, and this is episode 4 of Spotlight. Spotlight is a podcast where we talk to people in the baseball community, entrepreneurs, influencers, coaches, anyone that has an insight about baseball, and we want to just shed a spotlight on them, shed some light on what they're doing. We have a super awesome guest today. I'm super biased about this as well because he has become a super good friend of mine over the past year or two. He's just one of the best guys around. A lot of you guys will be familiar with him, and I'm really excited to share his story. His name is the Baseballogist. You can follow him on Instagram, everywhere at Baseballogist, and we'll put more plugs in at the end. He is the first professional baseball fan. He's a baseball trainer, motivator, and he educates and promotes community through baseball. His motto is spread love and positivity and continue to get 1% better. The Baseballogist. What's up?
It's an honor to be on Spotlight, man.
Awesome.
I'm a big fan of Spotlight. For you to highlight certain people and for me to be a guest on the show, I'm stoked because this opens up. There's so many discussions that we can do, and we just ramble on. So I can't wait for what's to come.
Yeah, man. You get two people who just love baseball in a room, and you let them go. And you kind of see what comes out the other side. But, one of the things I'm really excited about, you're like a content like master. You put out so much good content. You have such loyal fans. And I will say that, like, the people on your page that follow you love you. It's crazy. Obviously I can see why. And I'd love to get into that. But I thought like a good place to start would just be an introduction, right? I gave you a short introduction. But, tell us who you are. Tell us where you grew up, what got you into the game of baseball? How did it all get started?
So my name's a baseballogist. I'm from Southern California. And I've done it all. I've done Little League, Pony, travel ball, high school ball, JUCO ball, university ball, and I coach as well. And something that I just wanted to answer was, what's the game missing? I love the game. I love everything about it. But since social media is such a phenomenon, what is missing in the entertainment of baseball? Since baseball isn't, as culturally accepted as NBA, I wanted something to where we can strike not only the baseball players and fans. I want to create baseball as a phenomenon too, where someone who thinks baseball is boring, hey, I know why that's funny, or I know why there's drama. I know why, because it's culturally, slowly being accepted. So that's why I started Baseballogist January 5, 2018 last year. And it's a journey, man. I live on the baseball field, so why not create this? Why not just document everything I do? Everything I do is the lifestyle of baseball. So that's why I started. I just wanted to be a figure in baseball, to where whether I can make you laugh, motivate you, inspire you, entertain you, or even just educate you about anything about the game,
Mm-hmm. Dude, I love it. And I mean, you started in January 2018, right? That is not that long ago at all. And I've watched you grow your following from literally zero. I think you reached out to me when you had like maybe not even 1,000 followers. And I was like, this guy is a hustler and he loves baseball. And it's something that it really just comes across. It is like the least forced thing ever. People who talk to you for 5 minutes. I mean, I'm looking behind you and you have 2-3 gloves right behind you. Like you're always baseballed out. And I have so much respect for how much you love the game and the way that you want to pass that on. It's super admirable.
Man.
But yeah, man, let's get into, we're going to talk a ton about the Baseballogist. We're going to go into everything because I really want people to learn why you do what you do, the impact it is currently having on people, and then what you're looking to do in the future so people can follow along with that journey. Because for me, watching you from the very start, I'm super invested in you. I'm like, I've got to watch you grow this whole time, and I see the hard work you put in. So I want other people to jump on board right now so they can experience that with you. But I think let's start with coaching, right? Because you said you're a coach.
Yeah.
Obviously you were a player. So Tell us a little bit about your playing career, just briefly. You don't have to go super into it. And then tell us how you got started in coaching and why you're currently a coach.
I mean, like I told you, I've done it all. Little League Pony, high school. I was varsity my freshman year, and then I did JUCO ball, so I understand the grind of a JUCO player. Didn't get a scholarship, and then eventually I worked my butt off to get a full ride scholarship for the next 2 years, and it's crazy because I appreciate the game more now than even playing. You and I thinking back, man, I wish I was still playing.
Yeah.
I get some of that, but I actually feel so blessed to where I stand today. And the reason why I coach is because, growing up, we probably have one, two, maybe three figures in our lives where, that was a coach that impact you to become who you are today. Literally, not only just baseball, but, business, education, lifestyle. And it could have been one-liners a coach told you, or it could have been an act a coach, cut you or something. I always praise that. I've always been a fan of whether it's success or failure for a coach to tell me, hey, you're getting cut, or hey, they praise you for something. And I always want to not recreate, but just create those moments for a player or players or a team or even an audience. I just want to be a figure where I don't want anything. You get a scholarship, you get drafted, you get, the pros. I don't want anything. I just want to be a name that said that he impacted me for who I am today. And it doesn't have to be baseball. They could be, an entrepreneur. They could be a traveler. They could be just a great human being. And for them to tell me, hey, you impact my life when I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 20, 40, That's why I got into coaching, is it gave me an opportunity to put my voice out. And, kind of back, going back to why I started Baseballogist is I loved coaching so much that I wanted to just grow a bigger platform to put the word out, or put the love and voice out about the game and more. So that's why I got into coaching.
I love that. I love that. That's great. And you know what? One of the things that kind of sparks my interest, right? You have this intense passion for giving back and being impactful on people's lives, which tells me that there was someone probably really important in your life that had a big impact on you. Was there a specific coach? Feel free to give him a shout out, or was it a group of coaches? Was there someone important that really had that impact on you early on? And what was that coach like? What did they say to you? Why were they so impactful?
There's a lot, right? But I think the biggest one that really just hits home is my first JUCO, or my first community college school I went to. Mm-hmm. And it was a prestigious one in the state of California. And I got recruited as one of the top guys to play. 3 months in, I got cut. And the act of getting cut, at first, I didn't know how to deal with failure. Just because when you're on top of the world for, 17, 18 years of your life, you're not used to, not playing. You're not used to getting cut. So I didn't take it so well. I remember, I know all their names. There's all 5 coaches. And I cried. I cried, and I didn't want to play baseball because, again, failure, I couldn't handle it. But because of that, I understood that it's only it's only one school, or it's only one coach that I couldn't please. So why wouldn't another team want me? So that act of failure, that act of struggle, that 2-3 weeks I just didn't want to even think about baseball, molded me to who I am today, because I understood the faster you fail, the more you struggle. The faster you fail, the faster you succeed, because you understand how to keep going. And I think that's a big part of people's lives that they lack, is they don't know how to deal with struggles or failures. They just think it's this is the path to success. No, it's
it's topsy-turvy. Absolutely.
So that would be it. And what's even more phenomenal is, out of the 5 coaches, 1, 2, 3 of the coaches I'm very close with still. And I even tell them that, I thank them for what they did and what they taught me. and I actually work with some of them today. So it's
Yeah.
just funny how things, uh, you know, circle back around.
Yeah, man, that's super insightful, and I mean, an incredibly important point. I was speaking with kind of a mentor the other day, and we were speaking on this panel, and he said something that kind of epitomized what you said. He
Yeah.
said, "Learning is painful," and I was like, "Wow, learning is painful because you're not learning those really really deep rooted important lessons when you're going off and going 5 for 5 every game and everything's clicking. You're really learning what it takes not just to be a good person and a good human being, but a good baseball player as well.
Yeah.
When you're in a slump, how do you carry yourself? What are you doing to get out of that slump, right? I would always tell people that, a good baseball player isn't someone who doesn't slump. It's someone who gets out of slumps a little sooner than other baseball players. And that's definitely a mentality. That's definitely a confidence and, a willingness to fail, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's painful. Learning is super painful, but it's absolutely necessary to grow.
Yeah.
Do you have, while we're on the subject, do you have a favorite failure? I mean, if you're looking back and you're saying there was one time where, and it could be the time that you were let go, or that you were cut from the team, where you look back and you're like, that was a really important lesson for me to learn because maybe I wasn't mature enough at that point, or maybe I wasn't at a certain point I wanted to be, and that failure really jump started me. Do you have a
So
favorite failure?
yeah, so that me getting cut would be number one because it was such a devastating part of my life.
Mm.
But I already said it. But another one would be when I was in community college,
Mm.
and I made I think 3 errors in one game. Actually, in one inning, 3 errors in one inning, and
Yeah.
lost the game
Yeah.
because of that. Oh, there's so much weight on me. I think I wanted to cry, put glasses on. I mean, it's so embarrassing. It was the
Yeah.
last inning, so it's not like it happened the first inning to where, we had a chance. No, it was the last inning, and I wanted to cry so bad. The drive home was terrible. I think it was dealing with so much weight on me, so much
Mhm.
pressure that it made me understand I need to work harder. And two, stuff happens. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Stuff happens. And three, no one's perfect. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, if we ask every single ball player in the MLB, they're not going to tell you, oh, I mean, I had no problems. Everyone's going to have a failure story.
Mhm.
And I think it's just the mindset of understanding that, hey, you're gonna suck sometimes, but it's your decision to proceed or just, quit or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, making 3 errors to lose the game is arguably one of my biggest failures in baseball.
Yeah, but important, right? I mean,
Very,
if you play baseball long enough, that happens because you're saying this, and I remember my worst game ever, right? Like
yeah,
over 3 Ks, like booted a bunch of balls, and then I got thrown out of the game. It was embarrassing,
yeah,
right? But you can't learn how to deal with those situations until you actually go through those situations. And obviously, if you've never gone through it, you're probably going to handle yourself poorly. You know
yep,
what I mean? Because I bet that, and that could happen again. And that's not a slight at you playing baseball. That's just the luck of the draw. You get a couple
yeah.
bad hops, you get in your head, that stuff happens.
And
Um,
it's funny I say that, just to interrupt. You said your worst game. My worst game ever actually turned out to be arguably one of my best games. I'll tell you why. I'm
yeah.
a leadoff hitter, so I arguably get the most at bats. And I went. It was it's college, so it's 9 innings. It was a 16 inning game, and I had I believe, like 8 at bats or 9 at bats, and I had I think 6 Ks.
Yeah. That's that's
I was
impressive.
like, Coach, just take me out. Like, this is ridiculous. Just take me out. And it was actually, we're playing in San Francisco, so we had a flight to get home, and we had one more at the bat, and I hit a game-winning triple.
Mhm.
So I think I went or it was like 2 for 10, and with 6 Ks, but with the game-winning triple.
That's
So
all that matters. That's all that matters.
that's all that matters.
Team
So,
sport,
exactly.
100%.
So it was learning that you could be terrible, but if the
Mhm.
game's not done, you could be the hero. So
Yeah,
that was probably one of the coolest stories so far of my playing career.
I do. I love that. And actually, it brings up kind of a natural segue, right? So, I had one of my good friends, Cameron. He was one of the first episodes of Spotlight, and Cam, we played together, so I asked him some questions based on I knew him and his playing career, and I would put him in the category as one of the best teammates I've ever had.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal baseball player. But, you brought up a good point with that. You went 0 for 6, 6 Ks. You won the game for your team. It's baseball. It's not, you don't win or lose based on strikeouts. You win or lose based
Yeah.
on who scores the most runs at the end of the game. So, the way that you probably carried yourself in the dugout, you went 0 for 6 to start the game off, whatever, with six punch outs. That's funny.
So the highlight
have,
was game-winning triple, but they didn't put 2 for 10. They just put triple.
That's all that needs to be said. That's all that remembers. You needed to strike out all those times to get that hit at the end of the game.
Yes.
But for going back to being a good teammate, right? You were hopefully carrying yourself great the whole way. You got up at that last at bat, game on the line. You won the game for your team. Being a good teammate.
Yep.
What does that mean to you? What does it mean to be a good teammate, not just a good player? And I want to really preface this because I see with the rise of Instagram, social media, all of this, travel ball teams, it feels like sometimes kids are doing things maybe for the wrong reasons when they're a little bit younger.
Yeah.
What advice could you give them on being a good teammate, and what does it mean to be a good teammate? Because I think this is the most underrated thing people are being taught. They're saying baseball is a team sport, but we're not shown how to be a good teammate and why that's so important. And then when you leave baseball and you go into your careers and everything, it's very apparent why being a good teammate is really, really important. But can you speak to that? Let's talk about being a good teammate.
So, just a little backstory. My freshman year, I made varsity, and I was a starting second baseman, and I did really well. And my sophomore year, I was actually named team captain.
Mm-hmm.
And it really kind of shocked me because what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to lead, what are you, 15, 16? You're supposed to lead 18-year-olds who are seniors. And that's a big deal because you're still an underclassman.
Yeah.
But growing up, I remember my senior year quote. They asked all the captains. I think it was me and 2 other guys that were the captains eventually my senior year. They asked me a captain question. They said, "What does it take to be a captain?" And I said, a captain isn't the best player on the team. A captain is the best character on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't take pride in being, one of the best players on the team to be the captain. I took pride in being the best character. So an example for best character would be, that guy, say, you have a rally, it's 8th inning. He hit a home run. He comes in. He's like, "Come on, let's go," just because he hit a home run.
Yeah. I know that guy. Everyone knows that guy.
And it's fine. Like, that's fine. But that same guy, say he just struck out, he comes in, he pouts, and he doesn't say anything. That same guy. So the best character of the captain to me is a guy who strikes out, who makes a bad play, and who comes in and he still cheers everyone on.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you're going 0 for 4 and you're having a terrible game doesn't mean you still can't be the best character, the captain on the team.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's the best teammate. Is if you can still emotionally support the whole team, even when you're personally doing bad, it shows a lot out of you on how you envision the team, how you envision yourself, and how you take on the role as the captain. Because if Josh is down and he's a captain, then I guess everyone's down. So you're a reflection of your team.
Dude, I love that. I absolutely love that. And kind of another point just to add on to that and piggyback. You don't have to be a captain to have incredible character. And there's this really cool TED Talk about leadership. It's like a 3-minute video. I'm sure I could put a link, in the show notes to all this. But the point of this leadership TED Talk was the person who seems like the leader that's starting this momentum and this energy and this trend. It seems like it's one person, but it's actually the second person, because the second person basically edifies that we're following this one leader. So that second
See
person
that video.
is
Is
really
it
important.
the ones dancing?
It's the ones dancing.
Yes.
It's the
And
ones
then
dancing.
everyone comes.
Yep. And then everyone comes, and I always think about that video because it's not just the captain. It's the people saying, we're with you. It's the second person, and then the third person. And then there's three people. Now you're starting to get momentum. Now you're four, five, six. That's what it means to be a good teammate. That second person is just as important, if not more important, than the person that comes, off the home run and says, hey, let's go. Come on, let's go. Or the person that strikes out and carries themselves well. It really is the whole team. And everyone knows when your energy's down the dugout. Everyone knows when your energy's up in the dugout. And, you see it every single year with Major League Baseball players. The team with the best camaraderie always has a shot to win. And they're so much fun to watch, right? They're so much fun to watch. But I think it's so important that kids, teenagers, even like adults, they just learn what it means to care about your teammates more than yourself. To say that I'm going to help you get better, and in return, them getting better is also pushing you. So I love that, and I love the way that you explained it. I would like to transition into, I don't want to forget this at all. You have like an awesome story about going to baseball parks and traveling.
Yeah.
I don't even want to preface anything. I just want you to run with it. Tell us how many Major League stadiums you've been to. Tell us about the journey to see Major League ballparks.
So I've been to Angels, Dodgers, San Francisco, Oakland, San Diego, Arizona, Atlanta, Denver, both what do you call it? Both New York. So that's 10.
Yep.
Baltimore, Philly, and Nats. So that's 13. So I would say 13 so far, but I started last year. All right.
That's
I guess
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a journey, and with time, obviously, I'll fulfill it, but I'm not rushing. I guess my favorite thing about it is this is a sports fan answer, not just a baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball stadiums arguably are the best arena stadiums in sports. When you go to a football stadium, there's nothing phenomenal about it. It's the energy. It's just, hey, you're watching your team. When you go to NBA, arena, big deal. Like, there's nothing crazy about the arena. I guess the only thing you could say is, like, when you go to Los Angeles and you go to Staples Center, oh, Michael Jackson performed here. Or, Bruno Mars performed here. Adele performed here. But when it comes to a baseball stadium, the architecture, the history, the features, the food. Football fans and basketball fans, they don't talk about the food. They don't say the Laker dogs, or they don't say the Celtic nachos. They don't say that, right?
That's true.
It's to me, a baseball stadium is like a playground. There's so many things about it. There's so many features. I went on a trip about 2 months ago. I went to 3 ballparks in less than 2 weeks. It was Citizens Bank, Camden Yard, and Nationals Park. And someone texted me saying, hey, which one's the best one? I couldn't say this one is this over that. I gave them categories. I said my favorite ballpark, architecture-wise, was Camden Yards. With the very cool backdrop, or the building, and it's known for being the post, like the beginning of the modernized ballparks. That was like the beginning. So that's one. Nationals Park I love the energy. So how MLB captured everyone doing like the baby shark. There's so many things that they do. That I was like, damn, like this is cool. Like I didn't know DC fans were like this. After every run, everyone would look to nosebleeds right behind home plate, and they'd all like hold their hat like this. And those guys in nosebleeds would start the chant. They'd go, N-A-T-S, Nats, 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 woo! Everyone would do that. And I was like,
that's awesome. I never knew that.
And, see, MLB didn't capture that. And then again, Philly, they're phenomenal for their people. Like, Philly fans are very prideful people, which, there's nothing wrong with it. So the journey of going to different stadiums, not only to capture the stadium and watch a game, but it's the culture. There's there's different cultures in every single city, state, every stadium that I have such an open mind that I would want to experience it with everyone. I've yet to go to Fenway, but we
will get you to Fenway, and we will do a lot of fun stuff with Fenway.
Yeah.
I promise you, we will get you to Fenway, and because I want to be there for that. Fenway holds a special place in my heart. I'm in Boston right now. I live in Boston. I grew up in the Boston area. I want your first experience at Fenway to be next to me because I would
I know for a fact that Fenway is going to be, if not one of my favorite ballparks.
Mm-hmm.
Not for, the people. I know that people are phenomenal. Boston fans are crazy when it comes to sports, and you guys are spoiled because you guys have like freaking 10 rings in like 20 years. Anyways, it's the history. I like history. I love knowing. I like sitting in a ballpark and saying, "Hey, he played here," or "Damn, this is over 100 years old." To me, it's like there's so many people that love. I don't know. I'm going in depth with it, but it's being one of a historic park. Like for example, Wrigley Field is the only field left that Jackie Robinson played in. So for you to sit there, like, whoa, that's crazy. I like experiencing that. And then I also like diehard fans. So, when it comes like Boston, you're not only representing the Sox, you're representing Boston.
Yeah.
The Yanks, you're not representing New York, you're representing the Bronx. When you're a Met fan, you're not only representing New York, you're not only representing Queens, but you're representing that you hate the Yankees. So there's so much culture that to me, it's not only just a game, but it's it's a rivalry of the teams, and there's so much to it, man. I go on and on. The Yankees, Dodgers, Angels. There's that battle. Dodgers, Padres. I don't know if you've been to Petco Park in San Diego. When they're facing the Dodgers,
I haven't, not yet.
Good luck with the Padre fans. It's Dodger Stadium.
Yeah,
they are there, and they'll let it be known. Yeah.
Dude, that's insane. That's insane. And also, you're a professional baseball fan. It's not, you're not trying to be it. You're not going to become it. You are already a professional baseball fan, which you've said right from the beginning. You were the first, and I couldn't agree with you more. I've never heard of it. I don't, no one really could know what that means because you're the first one. Tell us what it means to be a professional baseball fan, right? The Baseballogist is a professional baseball fan. And, just tell us what was going through your head when you're like, I'm going to create my own profession. I'm going to do what I love, get paid for it, and make an impact on people. Because, just to have one out of the three of those things, to make your own career, to have an impact on people, to choose kind of your own path, just having one out of the three is great. And you're like, no. I'm not going to settle. I want all three of them. And it's all super admirable. So, let's talk about the Baseballogist. Let's talk about being a professional baseball fan. Take us back, before everything started and you're like, I'm going to be the first professional baseball fan. What led you through that thought process?
Can I ask you a question before I answer that?
Yeah.
You used to be a ball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like any ball player. Why did you want to be in MLB?
Honestly, I wanted to be there because that was the best place you could be, right? Yep. That was the
highest level of competition.
It's the highest level, and that's what you're working towards. And it's the integrity for the game. It's something, I respected the game of baseball, and I respected myself, so I worked as hard as I could to get to the highest level, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the essence of competition, right? I loved baseball. I loved playing it because it was really, really difficult, right? And exceeding that made me proud of myself. So I wanted to make it to the major leagues because that was the pinnacle of success. And for a game that you love, it shows the ultimate integrity making it that far.
So, and that's a respectable answer, right? My answer is not like that. Why I want to be a professional baseball player.
You gave me a little switcheroo there.
Yeah. Just that's a respectable answer, right? But I remember when I was in high school, when I used to go to games. Again, watching a phenomenal game, that's great. But I actually go to a game and I'll go an hour or two prior, and I just like watching behavior of what the players do prior to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying just stretching. I'm talking about the interaction between them and fans.
Yeah.
And I mean, being a high schooler, you don't get the balls, from the players. You got to be like 9 or so. But I remember when a player would just toss a ball, and a kid would be like, and look at a ball like they've never held a ball before. But they kept the ball from so and so player, right? And now fast forward when I think I was like 15. I met Kenny Lofton. Obviously Kenny Lofton. If you guys don't know Kenny Lofton is a legendary player. He was mostly with the Indians. He was a leadoff hitter, center fielder, and he just got on base. He stole bases. Anyways, I saw him, and I remember no one approached him. When you wait for your bags, no one approached him, and I was like, screw it. I'm going to approach him.
Mm-hmm.
I approached him, and I was like, Mr. Lofton? He's like, hey, what's up? I was like, hey, do you mind signing my ball? I was like, and he's like, why do you have a freaking baseball in the airport? I'm like, I'm a baseball player, like I have a ball. And it was like 20 minutes of conversation.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. So the reason why I asked you why you want to be a major league ball player, to me, the reason I wanted to be a major league ball player was for the platform, the platform to preach whatever I want to preach, to make someone's day, to visit them at the hospital, or to create like a nonprofit, just to create an impact. Remember, these guys are just ball players. They're regular people. But because of the status of being a professional baseball player, all of a sudden they're Superman. Think about it. Who's the most a baseball player? Mike Trout. Mike Trout shows up to a baseball field, all of a sudden he's Superman, right? Because he's a baseball player. I wanted that same platform.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get a ball and give it to a kid, and him to be like, oh my gosh, I got a ball from, the Baseballogist. I got a signed ball from the Baseballogist. I got, cleats from the Baseballogist. I got this. That's literally the only reason why I wanted to make the MLB, was to create that platform and to make an impact, whether it's verbally, whether it's materials, whether it's anything, entertainment, anything. I wanted that for the game and for myself. Mm-hmm. So that's why I created the Baseballogist as the first professional baseball fan, is to create that same status of being having a platform to give back, having a platform to speak in front of thousands of people and feel extremely good about it in the most positive way.
It's an amazing reason to start where you've started, and it just shows kind of your tenacity is, if I'm not going to get that platform for major leaguers as being a major leaguer, you didn't say I'm just going to work. You said I'm going to do something still in the game of baseball, still something I love. Will give me that platform, man. That's amazing. And to see where you've come, I mean, just with 1 year, it's insane. Like, I'm so excited watching you grow and kind of becoming the Baseballogist, even though you've always been the Baseballogist. But no, tell us, take us one step further, right? Because I want anyone that's listening to this is a long format podcast. I want people to get to know you, right? I want people, they see the clips you do, they see all the awesome comedy skits you do, they see the quotes, they say this, but this is a really great opportunity for people to get to know you, right, as a person, like I've got to, and I would kind of want to share that with everybody. But how do you plan on doing that as a Baseballogist? Growing and having social media followers is one thing, right? That's an opportunity. But what are you going to do with that opportunity once you get it? So I guess, where we could put a timeline on it. Where do you see yourself in 5 years as a Baseballogist? Or what's the next goal? Because I know it's a never-ending process. You're not going to get to a certain point and say, I'm done growing, I'm done impacting, I'm done doing this. What does it look like in your immediate future? What are you working on, big picture things for the baseballogist to make that impact that you were talking about?
So as you can see through behavior, I'm like fidgeting right now just because I could give you a 20-year answer, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I have such a, a vision for what I want to do. I don't know how to kind of just say, that's where I want to start, because, it's a process. But I guess you could say for what I'm already doing, and to kind of just go from that, is every time I go to a new any stadium, any event, any field, I always tell people where I'm going, because I want to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
I want to meet baseball fans, baseball players, baseball parents, baseball anyone. So I guess you could say a goal of mine is, as I travel, I want to make an impact in people's lives as I travel. So, one of my goals is to go on different trips, to go on like a tour, to go to different cities, states, countries, planets, universes, to meet people and impact people, right? And for me to talk to a 9-year-old and him be like, "Hey, I love your skits," and then me talking to a parent, him like, "Hey, man, I really love your angle on being a baseball fan. Like, that's cool."
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I that's one, if not the most, probably my favorite thing for the experience. And it's just going to be that. It's using my platform, yes, my social media, but for me to actually go out and about and go to different areas and meet people and talk to people and give advice as much as I can, as far as baseball, as far as life and entrepreneurship. That's what I want to do. I guess that's kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year plan, is to just be constantly on the road and doing different events, doing different stadiums, doing different teams, doing different camps, and just being a figure in the baseball community, not for the fame, not nothing. It's just being an impact and giving a different angle perspective on how to love yourself, how to love the game, and how to love life.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I mean, I love that it feels like you've done so much over the past year, but it's still just the beginning. And I love to think of it like that, because I see where you're heading, and it's a really big honor just to be a part of it. I do want to go into like just some spitfire questions, right?
Hit me.
I want to talk, just kind of off the top of the head things. If that's cool with you, you ready for that?
I'm ready, man. I love these questions.
Awesome. What is something you've changed your mind on in the past 3 years?
Not caring what other people think about you.
Wow. Yeah. That's a big one.
And that's a general statement. That's like a life answer.
Yeah.
Not caring for what people's opinions are about you, whether especially negative, your parents, your friends, your even strangers, because everyone has problems. But I think if everyone just works on their own being instead of hating on others, life will be a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's knowing that I know what I want, so I don't need to cater to what you think I should do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about what I'm doing. When I first started, people were like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But then when it becomes, it becomes real life, people are like, "Wait, it changes the way they think." That's what I want to do for everyone, is letting them know that whatever you want to do in life, it's frickin' 2019. You can do whatever the heck you want. You know what I mean? Like, you and I have a great relationship, personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I personally only seen you one time, like physically one time.
That was a great time though, and I want to put that.
Great time.
I'm gonna share that on our Instagram again, because that was a good time.
But what I'm trying to say is, it's 2019. You can do whatever the heck you want. I don't want to get into other things that could be very what's the word I'm looking for? Controversial. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to be traditional.
Yeah.
You don't need to be old school, and you don't need to follow the route that parents, coaches, friends are telling you what is right because they aren't you. You don't. If you listen to them, that means you don't have a subconscious mind to knowing what you want. So I guess the going back to the question is knowing what I want and sticking to what I want and not caring for negative opinions because you don't know where I'm going. You don't know me, even like best friends and people around me. Yes, they know me, but they don't know what's best for me. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. And literally when you're talking about that, one word comes to mind, and it's courage, right? You have to have courage to go against the grain.
Yeah.
You have to have courage to be vulnerable and say, I'm going to commit to this. You have to have courage to say, if I fail, which is a very likely possibility, I'm fine with that. Because taking the risk was way more important than not doing it all. And I just don't think people see that as being, they don't know how to cultivate that courage, right? And it stems from what you were talking about, learning to not care what people think about you. Caring what people think about you is the opposite of being courageous, right? It's going with the flow of things. It's letting other people kind of decide what your decisions are going to be. And, the same thing when I would love to have been in the room when you told one of your friends, I'm going to be a professional baseball fan. That's going to be my full-time job. And I'm going to travel and I'm going to go to these stadiums and I'm going to make an impact on people.
Yeah.
And they must have been like, you're out of your mind as they packed their briefcase and they went to work to go make money, which they didn't, want to do in the first place.
Yeah.
And I feel you because when I started Play Crate, I was like, I'm going to start a monthly box of baseball gear. People are like, that is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I mean, and I got that for so long. And I just knew that, I was speaking to myself at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 because I was such a baseball nerd the same way that you were. I lived in batting cages. I worked in batting cages. I technically actually lived in a batting cage. I put my bed in there. But I was like, what would I love when I was 16? What could I have done to help myself at 16? And Play Crate was the answer. You know what I mean? It just takes courage to get to that next step. And I mean, I'm super happy that you took the leap because now you look at it and it seems so obvious, right? You're like, oh, hindsight, I was always going to be the baseballogist, but that's not true. It must have been really, really difficult to start. And, while we've been talking about failure and the importance of it, you talked about failure on the field. Talk about failure as a baseballogist. Was there a time where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is going to work. And what got you through that?
Probably my third year in college. That's why I went from JUCO to, university ball. And I noticed that I wasn't, like, even though I was working my butt off, I noticed that, there are people a little better than me, a little stronger, I got I remember I was supposed to be the second baseman and a freshman beat me out. And they're like, hey, you're the leadoff hitter, go find a spot. So I took the left fielder spot,
Yeah.
But that was a time where I was like, you know what? I mean, you could be very confident in what you do, but you also know what you got to know. You just got to know. You got to have awareness for how to adjust some other way. You know what I mean? Like you can't be on top of the world all the time. So you got to have awareness of knowing when to, switch it up. So probably a failure that kind of as a question, a failure that helped me what? Like
Yeah, so the question would be, we talked about failure before. You talked about your failure on the baseball field, how important it is to fail. But now, professionally, you're a professional baseball fan.
Got it.
Starting baseball just must have been so difficult, right?
Yeah.
You don't just start and you had to convince people of what you're doing and why to get behind you. So there must have been, roadblocks along the way. So professionally with the baseballogist, what were those roadblocks and how come you didn't just say, you know what, baseballogist, professional baseball player, everyone was right. This isn't going to work. You went past that. So what helped you get past those roadblocks?
So, regarding me getting beaten by a freshman in my junior year of college, I understood that, hey, I'm probably not going to get drafted. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the road.
Yeah.
Like when your senior year of high school, you played after high school, but you know how there are some people who just didn't play college, so they cherish that last year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that, okay, I mean, I'm gonna do my 4 years, but I'm nowhere like done. Like I'm not gonna be a spectator. I'm gonna do more than what I'm doing as a baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it's just the love of the game that I knew I wasn't gonna to walk away from it, you know? So that love or that lifestyle of knowing that I'm gonna be around the game, period, is probably like the given that I'm not gonna fail. I'm not gonna quit.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible. You could tell me anything, it's gonna be impossible. I'm gonna show you a love of the game more than anyone that you know because it's the love and respect of the game, and it's different. Not to be a fan of a team, but to be a fan of the game for what it taught me to be a vehicle to where I am today. And
Mm-hmm.
it goes in depth. You know, I give thanks to the game because of the people I met, where I'm at, the lifestyle I'm living, and no one could take that away from me. It's my baseball lifestyle. It's my story that grounded me to knowing that I'm gonna do so much in the game.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. So I mean, for everyone out there that, you know, would ever think about starting their own thing or they're going through a tough time, it sounds like you just had this principle, right? This or a mantra, something that's unmovable. And it was your love for the game and your respect. And you always knew you were gonna have something to do with it. So even if Baseballogist didn't work out, it's not there's no such thing as failure when your goal is already being met. You're
Yeah.
in the game you love. You're already you're being around baseball players and you're meeting people. So, if the goal is to make, $50 million a year and that was your aspiring goal, you might be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
But I love that you have a goal that you met instantly, but that it's going to continue to drive you forward as much as possible. So, it's the same kind of thing. Like if you want to go to the major leagues, for the sole purpose of just making money, you're gonna have a difficult
Yeah.
time. You're gonna have a difficult time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's so much different than people think.
Yeah, I mean,
That
people ask
journey.
me, obviously how I did it, and they say pitch me ideas on what they want to do, and that's fine. Everyone has their own niche, but the question is I'll question them. Why are you? I think why is the biggest question.
Hmm.
If they say, "Oh, I want to make millions of dollars," like, oh, I mean, you better do something else.
Yeah.
You get a real estate or something, or something like that. But it's are you emotionally invested in it? Because when you do fail, is your emotion enough to conquer that struggle for you to keep going, or you can be like, damn, that just didn't work.
Yeah.
So it's the question, why are you doing it, and are you emotionally invested in it to where are you prepared to fail, to get negative opinions, to get to struggle.
Hmm.
So that, I guess, like you said, it's the principle of knowing why I did it,
Yeah.
why I
I love
started.
that. I love it. That's your pillar, and I love that you're spreading that message. So another rapid fire question. If you had to give yourself your 16-year-old self advice, what would it be?
Work at what you suck at.
Okay. Why?
Work at what you struggle at. So this is talking to my sophomore self.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, in baseball. So this, I guess, it's a baseball question. I was so, I was good, right? But I had flaws in my game. So my thing is, I don't know if this was a general thing for people, but this is my personal thing is I kept on working on what I was really good at in practice.
Hmm.
BP, I was really good at, say pulling the ball, trying to put the ball over the fence. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, you like that was far. I'm like, yeah, you want that praise, but
Yep.
during the game, it's like I go 1 for 3, 1 for 4 because people getting kept hitting me middle way. I was a second baseman because I had a great glove. I didn't have the greatest arm. Why? Because I didn't work on it. I remember the biggest thing I hated in when I was younger was long toss. I just didn't understand why I need to do it. And that's probably just, I could blame myself. I could blame my coaches, but I didn't know. And some coaches did tell me, but they didn't like freaking pound me for it. And I paid for it. That's why, in college, I got beaten out in second because I didn't have a stronger arm than him. I remember I was a leadoff hitter, so I stole a lot, but I depended so much in high school that I was fast versus the actual skill of stealing. You could put the fastest Olympic runner and put him at first base. I guarantee he's not going to steal second base that easy. There's skill to it. So I struggled with that in college as well. So it would be work at what you suck at, even harder. You don't have to publicly state it. Just work on it. People like to work on what they're really good at. Like I say, practice and so. You throw high 80s, low 90s, but you suck at control. You only have a fastball and a curveball. Guess what? They're either going to sit flat on you or they're going to sit on your breaking ball. Get a changeup. You're very flat and you have a curveball. All right, get a two seam, get a cutter, switch it up. That would be it. Work at what you suck at.
I love it, and it's an ego check too, right?
It's an ego check, exactly.
For you to say you suck at something, like you have to say I'm not good at something.
Yep.
What is that? So I mean, a lot of players are like, I'm pretty good at everything, which is a horrible way. So I think a good way to start that is just realize you can improve on a lot of things, right? So yeah, I think that's great advice in baseball and in anything. If you could put anything on a billboard, and not something marketing, just the billboard that reaches the most amount of people. This is your one message to share, something concise from the Baseballogist. What are you putting on that billboard?
Oh, that's deep. It would have to go back to my two sayings. It'd be a coin flip. Continue to get 1% better every single day, or continue to spread love and positivity every single day. The reason I say those two is those aren't baseball quotes; they're life quotes. And continue to get 1% better every single day is a reminder, because sometimes people struggle at even starting. Some people struggle at being consistent. So the saying or the motto of continue to get 1% better every single day is a constant reminder that, hey man, like I know you're struggling, but find one little thing to do, one goal to do today that can help be an accomplishment for another thing. There's a saying where the first thing you got to do is make your bed every single day, because that's one goal you did, one goal, and that accomplishment, that 10-second act of making your bed is like, whoa. Well, sure, I better go to the gym now, because that 1% led you to that 2%, that 3%, 4%, to where you just want to maximize the day.
Yeah.
So that I guess that's a really good answer, because I've never really gone depth on what 1% means. Someone's like, oh, that's bare minimum. Yes, that's bare minimum. My 1% every single day will beat your 100% one day out of the month. Because I'm continuing. So it's actually the year, because that'd be only 30% if I did.
We're baseball players, not mathematicans, so don't worry.
But and then continue to spread love and positivity is a reminder that love and positivity would be the epitome of life to me. Spreading love to people, to your family, friends, strangers, and positivity to family, friends, strangers, period. Just because you have more money than me, or you have more followers, or you have a better job, that doesn't make you better than me. I'm not better than you. We're all equal. And it's a reminder, like, hey, ego check, chill out.
Yeah.
I remember the other day I was thinking about what makes someone better than someone. It's nothing. There could be a homeless guy that people say, oh, he's homeless, he's a terrible life, but he could be the most giving person. He could be the most lovable person. He could be the most generous person, but yet people don't praise him because he doesn't have money. So it's continue to spread love and positivity in a way to remind people that, dude, we're all human beings. Money, entitlement, status, profession, education doesn't represent how you are as a person. Actually, it shouldn't. A lot of people do think it does. So yeah.
I love it, man. And honestly, I think that's a fantastic place to leave off. Number one, thank you for being here. I think whether you're a player early in career, middle of your career, whether you're a coach, a parent, anybody, there is something just actionable that you can take away from this podcast and listening to you today. I want everyone to go follow you and to go and just be part of that journey, right? I'm on social media all the time for Play Crate and everything, and I go to your page every single day, and it's not just because you're posting, but it's just because it does put me in a great mindset. It puts me in a good mood because, like you said before, you have that non-negotiable kind of moral pillar where you're saying, I love baseball. My mission is to spread love and positivity and get 1% better every day. And it's inspiring no matter what stage of the journey you're on. So, thank you for that. And thank you for being on. And, tell everybody where they can find you. Your TikTok channel's blowing up. Let's have people go over there. Instagram, anything that you want to plug, anything, the mic is yours. Go for it.
So first off, thank you, Josh. Thank you for you to spend the time to just talk, man. It's always a pleasure. Follow me on Instagram, Baseballogist. Follow me on TikTok, The Baseballogist. And YouTube isn't as popping, but guess what? 2020. I guess that's a little sneak teaser. 2020 is gonna come. YouTube.com/The Baseballogist. It's going to be a good time, man. I'm continuing to spread love and positivity in the game and to showcase the game in and out. So check me out there. It's gonna be a fun ride.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
My man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. See ya.